This is Kevin Daly the SPORTSFERRET, and today I'm joined by Julie and Martin Abbott. Good morning, guys. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you? You all right?
Very good, thank you.
Good. Now, last week you had a busy week. You organised the Hythe Bay Triathlon.
We did.
And you had a lovely day for it as well.
The weather was amazing.
It was, yeah. I bet people wanted to jump in the sea rather than that old swimming pool.
Surely did. Quite a few people commented on that, but we were just lucky with the weather that day.
Okay. So let's start with the basics. Let's start with you, Martin. What's your role within the club?
Well, I joined the club a couple of years ago, completely unfit. They trained me from scratch. I couldn't even swim, didn't even own my own bike, but got it all sorted.
Right.
And then this year, I joined the committee. I wanted to give something back to the club. They'd given me a lot. And so I've been kind of helping out, doing whatever I can, but I kind of dived into the website. It's whatever I can do for the club, yeah. I will try and do.
Okay.
And then when we had this event coming on, again.
So it was all hands to the pumps then,
Absolutely.
Yeah. And Julie, what's your role within the club then?
I try and keep the press informed of all our activities and what people have got up to, achievements, and events that we're organising in the future.
I see. So I must make the point actually that, all right, we stepped outside the boundaries today and we've got the Ashford Tri Club, but to be fair, we have had the Deal Tri Club in before. But the point is that these events that we're talking about, what happened last week, did happen in our area, and a lot of Folkestone people went along. I know some of the runners that went along, and I know that there are a lot of people in Folkestone that do belong to the Ashford Tri Club. So it's nice to see. I like to see the bikes, sort of charging along the seafront. It's a road that's just sort of made for sport along the seafront there, and it really, really was a good weekend. So we get that one cleared up. So tell us about the day then. It started very early. I know that because someone told me that they wanted the first one in the pool at 06:58. Is that right?
That's right. We were very specific.
You were, yeah.
Yes, the first swimmer set off at 6:58 in the morning, and we had enough people to take part that we set them off roughly every minute from there onwards. It was what we call a zigzag swim, so you swim up and down the pool, duck under ropes, and keep going till you finish the pool. Took 250 metres.
Right.
And most people did it in about 6-7 minutes, depending on their abilities.
So what time was the if the first one in 06:58? When was the last one? What time did they?
The last one actually went in just gone 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock. So we got a 2-hour span just to get the show on the road.
We did indeed.
Okay. Now. So the point is with a sprint triathlon that it's the actual getting the results out. I mean, how did that work out? Because you got
everybody has chips on their ankles.
Yeah.
And from the moment that they started off in the pool, their chip was activated, and as they cross over the various mats, that pings up their time for the different disciplines of the race. And then that's all fed into a computer, and you get your timing at the end.
Okay, so do you have to kind of wait till the very last person is back in before you realise who won the runner? No.
Well, we had to wait for the last person to come in, because as people are staggered as they left, you can't guarantee that the last person wasn't the fastest person.
Exactly. Yeah.
But the times were live, so you could see how people were doing as they were crossing the line.
Right.
And by the end of it, yes, we had a good idea who had won.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant, excellent. Okay, well, we're going to play a bit of music, and it's lovely for you both to come in at such short notice. I was trying to get people in, and it's just one of those weeks where people couldn't make it. I couldn't get hold of them, or they pulled out at the last minute. So I'm really, really happy that you've come in, and we're going to talk even more throughout the hour about this event. And but for the moment, let's get on with a bit of music, and then after the next song, we'll perhaps give you an update on the cricket. But let's go and have a little listen to a bit of Duran Duran.
Please tell me now.
Come back to you. Now, first of all, how many people entered?
We had 121 entries. We had a few people didn't turn up on the day, and we ended up with 112 finishers.
112, all right, that's great. Spread over 2 hours. The start time was 2 hours. Now, we were talking off air there that it sounds like you had a few first-timers, a few nervous athletes out there.
We did. We aimed this try specifically for novice triathletes, people who have seen on the telly or other people taking part and thought maybe it's just too much for us. So we specifically aimed this one to encourage people to give triathlon a try, basically.
Right, and it proved to be a success for the newcomers?
It did. It wasn't a very easy course, but it was achievable, which is what we wanted to aim for.
Yeah. When you say it wasn't easy, what
Sandgate
made it?
Hill.
Okay, yeah.
You had to cycle up Sandgate Hill to get to Folkestone.
Yeah.
And so obviously that was the big challenge.
I see.
But everyone took it on and did very, very well.
Yeah, it's a tough hill. I've run up that many a time, and it seems to get longer every time you go up it, doesn't it?
I think that's what most people said on the bike. They thought they were there and they turned that little bit and it still carries on up.
Yeah, that's right. Last little bit till you get to the bus stop at the top there by the doctor's surgery. Now, Martin, on the sort of technical side, you said that you were helping the swimmers in. I mean, these obviously it's chip timing. It's great that the chips work underwater. Now, the swimming was the first event, so you said there was a lot of nervous people there on the podium there, ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, Julie would bring 10 at a time into the pool, and I was I'd be right by the pool, so having each person come in. Once I've set someone off, then they would get in. I'd have a brief chat with them, just make sure that they're all happy.
So you didn't start sort of 10 off together. It was one at a time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, one at a time with an interval.
Yeah. So basically, just made sure that the last person had gone to the end of the pool to then do their return.
I see.
Just gives them enough time. I mean, there were times when people would catch other people up. Because it was a beginner's try. We did say no overtaking during the lanes.
Oh, I see.
Which for the faster swimmers you could kind of see was a little bit annoying, but just wanted to make it safe as possible.
Yeah,
you know?
I see. And so how many did you sort of have an idea of how many newbies were there, if you like, you know?
It is difficult to tell, I think.
Yeah.
I can't remember on the sign up whether we'd asked that question.
Do you put a predicted time?
Yeah,
so that you know.
We do that for the swim. For the swim element, we actually say, how long do you think it would take you to swim 250 metres?
Yeah.
And that way we could then order them, and we put the slowest, try and order it so that the slowest people go first,
right,
which allows them enough time to complete the swim and get out onto the cycle course without feeling sort of overwhelmed. So we did ask, and we did try and sort of put people in order of slowest first to the fastest last.
Okay. So I couldn't make it on the day because of other commitments. Thank you, Eurotaro. So just run me through it. They come out of the swimming pool. Where was the transition period?
Transition was right behind the swimming pool on the green area, just outside the back of the pool, between there and the sea.
Okay, so then they
go
jump
and
on
grab
the
their
bike,
bike.
and they have to go. Did they go along the promenade, or did they go along the main
No, we
road?
went along, and you come out on Trim Road, and then you end up going towards Hythe.
Yeah.
And you do a turnaround at the roundabout, and then head off to Folkestone.
Oh, right, through Seabrook, yeah.
Seabrook,
Okay.
Sandgate, up
Up the
Folkestone.
hill. Yeah.
Up into Folkestone, turn around at Central Station, and then back again.
Oh, I must tell you this. I had a little chuckle this morning. I don't know if there's another cycling race coming through Folkestone today, but there's a sign still up by the roundabout.
We have to do a
by
count
Central
up.
Station.
Yeah. It's funny. I've driven past it several times during the week, but it only caught my eye today because I was just thinking triathlon cycling, and I thought, oh, they've missed a sign out.
We have to do a count up, see if we're missing one.
Oh dear. Okay, so Martin, now let's talk a little bit about the club. How many members have you got at the club, approximately?
That's a good question. 85.
85.
Okay, thank you, Julie.
Yeah, she's whispering there.
Yeah, we have approximately 85 paid up members at the moment.
Oh, paid up members, right. 200 non-paid up members, yeah.
Probably more.
Now, as a club, I mean, do you where is it you find to train? I mean, you're swimming, all right. I mean, do you go open water as well?
We'll be starting that very shortly. Our actual swimming pool lessons take part in the girls' school in Ashford.
Yeah.
And but that's just coming to an end because, as you say, we're starting the open water season.
Right.
We have some club organised training events which will happen at Holborough near Maidstone.
Right.
But quite a few of us do tend to meet up using the good old Facebook to say we're going swimming at, and we use lid quite a lot.
Oh, I see. Yeah. What about that place that's around the back of the Julie Rose Stadium? Is that
That's
lake
not
there?
actually available just to go off and swim in at the moment.
No.
So yes, there is the lake, and that is used for triathlon
Yes,
events.
Yeah.
But it's not actually just available for you to rock up and
Jump
use.
in.
Yeah.
Okay. Right, it's time for a bit of music and a bit more sport. So yeah, this is really getting interesting now, because I've just found out how long it takes to organise a triathlon, and I'll be telling you after this.
105.9 Academy FM.
Saturday Sport. You're listening to the Sports Ferret on Academy FM.
Academy FM.
This event got nothing but praise from the competitors as far as I could see, and I was hoping to get a lady called Kylie in today. Now, Kylie's a very old friend of mine, and I met her brother, who's a very, very accomplished marathon runner and triathlete, and sadly she couldn't come in, but she sent me a nice little report, and she told me that in her experience there was a bit of a headwind. Oh, the swim was good. She said the swim was good. That wasn't too bad because she likes to swim. There was a bit of a headwind on the bike ride up Sandgate Hill, and it was tough, but the turnaround by Folkestone Central with the wind on her back. Then she described as coming off the bike into the run, I love this, as having spaghetti legs, but they soon reappeared. And funny enough, as we were saying earlier, due to the nature of the event, so many competitors starting at different times, Kylie didn't know until she got home. She went home and she got a phone call. So you get back and get your trophy. You've actually won the race. So that was well done to Kylie. And good morning to Nikki Goodwin. Nikki I was trying to get Nikki in as well. She was busy, but she took part. She was actually the second lady, which is nice, both from Folkestone. And I want to say good morning to Emma Pope. Morning, Emma. We had her brother Tom in recently, but Emma has now, because she enjoyed the triathlon so much, she's now become a member. And I want to give a big shout out for Claire Brooker. Now, Claire really helped us this morning to get these two guys in because we were. I really didn't want to miss the moment. The event was last week, and I like to. While it's no, didn't want it to be old news. So I'm so pleased that we got Julia Martin in today. Thank you, Claire, for that. And now I want to say good morning to Peter. Morning, Peter. And yeah, it was your mum that chose Duran Duran, so she'll be playing it in the car all the way home. Now it's resurrected a Duran Duran moment. Right. Now, so we bring you back in there, Martin. So the positives, what was good that come out of this? I mean, obviously you had a great day, a lot of buzz. Did you speak to any people that were really, really nervous? Did you speak to them after their event, and get their feeling for it?
Yes. It was quite. I mean, for me, the whole day went so quickly. Anyway, I mean. When it was over, I looked at my watch and it was only like 10 or 11 o'clock, but the whole morning was a complete blur. But to see the people, who are going to be doing their first try, and they were very, very nervous, shaking almost.
Really?
So had a couple of minutes, or a few seconds, I guess, with them when they got in the pool. Made sure that they knew everything that they needed to do. It's all well and good having the pre-race brief, but I'm sure there's questions and you don't want to ask in front of people. Hopefully that steadied their nerves. And then afterwards, quite a few long conversations with people who've travelled a little way, like that with Maidstone and various places, who were just, they're overwhelmed. They and so interested in joining the club. Yeah. So that's got to be a positive experience.
Okay, excellent. Now, Julie, right, triathlon, all these events and all this organisation, how long before the event were you planning?
It took us about 20 months in total.
20 months. And this was just a sprint try.
It was just a sprint
try.
try.
I don't mean that.
No, there's a lot to do. You have to get permission from the council. Obviously, we're using their property, their roads, and we need to make sure that they're okay with the route that we've chosen. We need to get permission. Well, we got it licensed under the British Triathlon Federation, so we had referees there on the day to make sure that everything was all within the rules. And safety, obviously, is the highest priority for absolutely everybody taking part. So we did lots of risk assessments, did the course ourselves to make sure that there wasn't anything horrendous that we needed either just to flag up to people or even change the route if that was what was required.
The route, actually, I realised we turned round at Folkestone Central, but did you come back exactly the same way, or did you go onto the seafront?
No, we didn't go onto the apart from the bit where you go along the seafront after the garage, in front of Hythe Imperial.
Oh, yeah,
so that was the only bit that got changed.
I see, right.
So instead of going back through Seabrook, we cut off along the promenade bit and went in front of Hythe Imperial.
Okay, yeah. So, permissions, what sort of problems do you encounter in those 20 months?
It's really just making sure that the council were on board with the event, which they were right from the start. Making sure that they were happy with that we had taken the risk assessments and shown them the route and any questions that they had. But because we were quite determined to get it right ourselves and to make it good fun and safe for everybody, there were actually very few questions that came back from the council because we went over and over it ourselves before we submitted it.
Okay, right. And what about the swimming pool? Do you have to sort of contract it out for a couple of hours?
We did. We hired it out for the morning, and obviously they were very on board, and the manager was there watching us send off all the swimmers. She said how exciting it was to see it all happening.
Yeah, so in his pool, yeah.
Yes, it was good.
Right. And getting back to, obviously you're a tri club, was it difficult for you to find this venue? Could you think, could you have gone somewhere else in the county? Did you think this was like made for triathlon?
It was funny, when we first mooted the idea to run our own triathlon, it was all to do with our 10th anniversary year, which was 2015, and that's what we were initially aiming to run the tri that year. And when we thought about all the different pools, we decided we were going for a pool swim, to encourage novices, and we thought about all the different pools. And I think when you actually think about where things are situated, it kind of just grows from there. So we knew Hythe had the green behind it, which made it ideal for the transition area. We knew we had good roads out of the Hythe pool and could go off and do a couple of different routes that would have been good. And we knew we had the promenade to run, all within very close distance to each other. So it kind of like was a natural choice. Especially with sort of Folkestone members of Ashford Tri Club, it was very much the forefront that was the ideal pool to have a go at.
Excellent. Oh, well, you made a good start, a brilliant start. Now, if it took you 20 months, the question is, are you going to follow it up? Is it going to be a biannual thing, or is it a one-off? Or
I think the plan is to try and do it again next year.
Yeah.
We would like to do it again next year. Obviously, the committee has got to make sure that's okay. But now we've done it once and we've got the contacts and we know what we're prepared for, then hopefully we can run it as an annual event.
Next time.
I don't think a doddle. They never are.
Right, okay. So once again, the times, I can't believe how quickly you said about the morning going the other day. This hour, believe me, it just flies by. Right, so time for a bit of music now. We've got Mr. Stevie Wonder. I do believe it was his birthday during the week, so let's have a little bit of Part-Time Lover.
The Saturday Sports Show, brought to you by the Natural Health Centre in Folkestone. When it comes to your health, make the right choice.
105.9 Academy FM.
105.9 Academy FM.
Saturday Sport. You're listening to the Sports Ferret on Academy FM.
Academy FM.
So let's come back to you, Julie. What else have you got on the calendar that you personally perhaps have you got any goals that you're aiming for?
Yep. Very shortly we have the Cranbrook Tri, which is our club sprint championship. So we all compete in it and try and go the fastest and win the cup at the end of the year.
I see, yeah.
So that's coming up in a couple of weeks. And then my personal A race is Ironman Exmoor 70.3.
Oh, the half Ironman.
The half Ironman in Exmoor. That's my personal A race.
Is it an Exmoor now?
Yes.
Oh, right. It used to be, or was that the full one? The full one was in Bolton?
Yeah, the full one's in Bolton, and there's various ones in the UK now, but that's the one I'm going for.
Okay, yes, so that's some challenge, yeah. We've had a few Ironman and Iron Ladies, to be fair, in the studio, and I'm in awe of people like that, you know. Martin, you got any personal challenges that you're up to coming up?
Well, there's four of us actually doing.
I see. You're doing the same
Exmoor.
as well. Yeah, Exmoor.
And then a month later, the Outlaw in Nottingham.
Oh, right.
Pier Point, water, and then for the swim.
Yeah.
And then but it's a lot more flatter than.
I was going to say,
Exmoor,
now, first of all, the Exmoor, that sounds a little bit rogue, bit challenging.
It's very hilly.
Have you had any experience or any feedback from people that have done it?
It's hilly. It's hard.
Hilly, yeah. What about the swim? Is that open water?
That's open water. That's in the big lake. and then we get out, and then it's into the hills on the bike.
Yeah.
And then, unfortunately, when you get on the run, that's also in the hills.
Is it? Yeah. Oh dear. Oh well, you've got a nice area to train around Capel, up and down that hill.
Yeah,
there.
we're making the most of it.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, that is some hill from here to the. What's that pub at the top there? The
Valiant Sailor.
The Valiant Sailor. Yeah. I remember once doing it was a half marathon or a 10 miles, and it was in Dover, and the first part of the run was up Castle, by the castle. You know, so you come from the promenade straight up by the castle, and so I used to run from here to the Valiant Sailor, thinking, oh, I've cracked it, you know. On the day of the race, I've told this story before on here, but it's such a... I was about halfway up, just by the castle entrance there, feeling really good and feeling really strong, and I heard left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. And this squad of junior leaders that were based at Shorncliffe at the time overtook me with full pack and rifle on. Oh no, I thought I was fit. But I think triathlon now, I've noticed that there's more and more... in this part of the world anyway, I've seen there's a lot of Folkestone runners that are kind of switching their skills to triathlon and having a go, whereas, you know, from my experience of Folkestone Running Club, it was running and that's it. Do you find there's more, more diverse people coming?
I think there's a lot of crossover going on.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at.
I think with running, you know, it's a fantastic club for running and things like that, but with triathlon, because you do have the three disciplines, when you're training, to me, it makes it much more interesting. You can mix it up. You can work out what your weakest bit is and perhaps work a bit harder on that, and use the other two maybe just to go off and enjoy.
Yeah.
But or unless you're really like me and find all three hard. But
yeah, but that's what we get out of bed for, really. You need a challenge, don't you? And it's nice to see that your membership has grown because of last week. Probably, if the trouble is, you're going to have another one, and it'll be pouring a rain, or
it could well be. We were lucky with the weather. The sun shone. It wasn't overly hot. It was just warm enough, and we were lucky. Had it been pouring with rain, it might have been a completely different story.
It is,
Well, funnily enough, later on in the year, we also do the 666, which is in Kingswood in Ashford.
Yeah.
And we actually want the rain for that because it's a muddy run through the woods.
I see.
So we've got one that we want pristine like weather for, and then the other that we just want it crazy.
Now there was a few little comments on Facebook, all very positive, I might add, that I think they were kind of flippant comments about, instead of, because it was such a nice day, about having a sea swim. Is that practical? That surely throws up a lot more trials and tribulations?
I think that day the weather was phenomenal, and we couldn't have asked for anything better, but if we'd have arranged a sea swim, I'm sure the weather would have been
a storm.
Far different.
The other issue with the sea swim is the safety. You need canoeists out there to make sure that we can get anybody that gets into trouble. You need lifeguards galore, etc., and you've got to time it with the tides. Perhaps then we would have had to make the race later in the day because the tide wouldn't have been right, and that would have caused more issues with the road.
Yeah.
But we were aiming this race for novices.
Yes.
And to do a sea swim, you need a wetsuit.
Yeah.
So that would have counted out people who didn't want to go and get a wetsuit just for one race.
Yeah.
So, no, we decided on the swim being in the pool. Not to say we won't ever do a sea swim one, but for the moment we stick to the pool. Yeah,
I think that's wise, because, like you say, it would have detracted the first timers, you know, thinking, I'm not getting in the sea. Right, okay, time for a bit of music. It's about 10 to nearly 11 minutes to now, and we're going to play a bit of music, and then we're going to find out just if you wanted to join the try. We've got to say a few thank yous and thank a few of the sponsors that helped out these guys last week. Julie, let's start with you. It's your time to say whatever you want to say, really. Some thank yous or whatever. Go on, off you go.
Okay, well, yes, first of all, for the Hythe Bay Triathlon last week, thank yous all around for Shepway Council and Hythe Pool. To our, obviously for having us in the pool. To Jenna, who sponsored us, and then Pop Plus, who's our long-term sponsor of ATC, been with us since we started in 2005. They also provided the goodie bags on the day and the prizes. So again, thank you very much. A big thank you to our referees. We were very lucky that we've got 2 referees within the club. So they provided us with lots of pointers as we were setting up the course to make sure it was safe and abide with all the rules. And to Jim Hawkins, he's our sort of organiser extraordinaire, and without him it wouldn't have all come together. But mainly to thank you to all the members of ATC and Jenner employees who came along and marshalled on the day. We had to set up the date before, and that took quite a few hours, and we had to be there at 5:30 on the morning of the race, and we were there for a long day, but it was brilliant fun, and thank you for all the support. And that was the big thing that came out of the comments, was just how much support around the course there was for all partakers.
One point also that one of the swimmers made was that they might have started at 06:58, but they had the best part of the day because the roads were very empty. So the early ones kind of had a good free rein. Well, in fact, most of them did really, because it was like a couple of hours. Yeah. Okay, so Martin, now then, if there's somebody out there that's been listening this morning and thinks, do you know what? Even though it might be a year away, it sounds like a great event to train for. How can they get involved with your club?
Well, ashfordtriclub.co.uk is the best place to go. It's got all the details on there, how to join, etc., etc. But I mean, we're always looking for new members, and you don't need any experience in tri. You'll get everything you need from us, from just talking to us, going to our training sessions, and it's a social club as well. Yeah. But it's just a great community, really.
Okay, and have you got a Facebook page?
There is, and we're also on there, and we Twitter as well.
Okay, so you've been having a few comments, I understand, from some of your fellow members this morning, is that right?
Yeah, apparently.
Have we got to say hello, or say hello to
Dunning? I got the perfect face for radio.
Faces for radio. Oh, haven't we all? Yeah. I always have a shave, even though I come on radio. I always have to feel that I've got to be clean shaven on radio. Well, I'll tell you what, it's been great coming in for you. Sorry for you two to come in at such short notice as well. It's been a great morning. You obviously got a great passion for the Ashford Tri Club, and what you did. There's a lot of happy triathletes out there on Sunday afternoon after all the work. I think that probably some of the newcomers think to themselves, you know what, I really enjoyed this, I'm going to be back. So I hope your membership comes up. So once again, thank you, Julie, for coming in.
Well, thank you for having us.
And thank you, Martin.
Thank you very much.
You've been very good. You've been really, really good. He's trying to make a speech at a wedding, but he's been great this morning. Okay, guys, so we're going to finish up with a bit of Bananarama, and I'll see you all next week.